Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of AndrewsFootball.com. Welcome to my NFL draft review. Now, instead of making a video that's about 2 to 3 hours long, I cut it down into sections of 8. So I'm going to have 8 separate videos broken down by NFL division. Now, if you're new to my channel, I just got to ask you one simple question. Do you like talking football? Because if you do, you're in the right place. Ultimately, I'm making these videos to start a discussion with you. I want to hear what you think here. I'm offering my opinion. Give me a comment below and let me know what you're thinking. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What did I fuck up on? Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, there's a button right around here. See it, little subscribe button. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Now, let's start the show. This is my AFC East edition here, and I'm going to start off with Buffalo. I gave them a D+, but a lot of this has to do with the Stephon Diggs trade. Now, just to recap, you gave up a first, a fifth, a sixth, and a 2021 fourth, while getting a 7th in return for Diggs. Now, earlier in the day, Arizona got Hopkins, and there's no debate who's the better receiver, Hopkins or Diggs. I mean, Hopkins is clearly the better receiver, but you got Hopkins for a second, a 2021 fourth, and David Johnson, who you're trying to get rid of anyway, and you also get a 4th in return. Yeah. So when you look at the two trades and you see what Buffalo gave up for a lesser receiver, I was going into this draft giving them an F, but I absolutely loved what Buffalo did in the draft. I'm going to start with Jake Fromm here. Now, you take Jake Fromm in the 5th round, and here's the thing. Kansas City took Aaron Murray in the 5th round in 2014. Aaron Murray and Fromm are pretty good comparisons. They're both same size, same arm talent, both Georgia quarterbacks. Murray was a 4-year starter. Fromm was a 3-year starter. Aaron Murray did absolutely nothing in the NFL. He's no longer in the league. It wouldn't surprise me if 3-4 years from now, that would be the same thing with Jake Fromm. However, Jake Fromm does everything just the opposite of Josh Allen. As a matter of fact, he replaced Jacob Eason in Georgia, who's very similar to Josh Allen. Doesn't have the running ability, but size, arm talent, and pedigree. So it wouldn't surprise me if sometime in the next couple of years, if Josh Allen gets injured and you put Fromm in, Fromm outplays him. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you get a better performance from Fromm than you would Allen. It wouldn't surprise me if Fromm's cut. But in the 5th round, getting a guy like Fromm going to Buffalo, that is genius. That was a great move. Again, it's a 5th round pick, so even if he's out of the league in 3-4 years, you're not giving up anything. They did get 2 of my draft crushes. First off, AJ Espinosa, who I originally mocked in the 1st round. This is a guy who should have been a 1st round player. He'll be a starter sometime this season. He's going to replace Hughes or Edwards on that defensive line sometime in 2020. He may even be the day 1 starter. This guy is going to be great. Bills fans are going to love this guy. And then you get Zach Moss, another one of my draft crushes. Now, I love Singletary, but Moss will end up sharing time. And I think he could be the starter, actually. And then in the 4th and 6th round, you get really big body wide receivers that are going to help an inaccurate quarterback like Josh Allen. So I love that. Now, if they didn't do one of the worst trades I've seen in a long time, maybe one of the worst trades in NFL history, I'd probably give this a BB+ grade. Now, keep in mind, pick number 22, if you didn't give that up, that ended up being Justin Jefferson. If the Bills didn't trade for Diggs and they drafted Justin Jefferson at 22, I would give this draft a B+, maybe even A- grade. But due to the fact that they made this idiotic trade, I love what they did during the draft, so I give the Bills a D+. I'm going with the Jets next. I gave the Jets a B. I was a little confused by the Becton pick. Now, they spent a lot of money and they acquired 4 offensive linemen, including George Fant in free agency. So you pick Becton in the 1st round, then you pick Clark in the 4th round. So this offseason, you end up with 6 offensive linemen. Now, I know they had some problems on the offensive line. It just seems like a lot of bodies and a lot of money invested in that one position. And if you didn't have holes in other positions, this is a great move, but you did. So I was a little confused by that. Now, even though Becton's value is very good at 11, because you spent so much in free agency on the offensive line already, I was a little confused by that. In rounds 2 and 3, though, you hit absolute home runs. You traded down and you get Denzel Mims at 59. That's a genius move, because I could see them, and I did actually mock this in one of my drafts where the Jets trade back into the first round and get Mims. So getting him at 59 was really good. Ashton Davis at 68, another genius move. I've seen some mocks where he was gone late first round, getting him at 68. Going to the Jets is really good. Greg Williams is going to love this kid. And then Zunga at 79 was another pick I really like. This is another guy that Greg Williams is going to fall in love with. So your next 3 picks were just, all 3 of them were real home runs, great value in positions that you could really use. Perine out of Florida, I kind of liked in the 4th round, but James Morgan out of Florida International, I didn't like, because here's the deal. If you're going to draft a big-bodied quarterback, Morgan at 125, you could have got Jacob Eason, who was chosen at 121. He was available just 4 spots. You had pick 120 and 125. You took at 120. You took Perine. You could have taken Eason, and then you could have got Perine at 125. If you're going to go after a big-armed raw quarterback, why not take Eason? Why go after Morgan? That didn't make a lot of sense to me. But in the 5th round, they took one of my draft crushes, Bryce Hall. This is a guy who got injured his senior year, missed the last half of the season. If he was healthy, though, he would have been he would have been a top 3 round prospect. I don't know if it's 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, but this is a really, really good football player who Greg Williams is going to love. And and then your last pick, you picked a punter, you picked Mann. Here's the thing. If Mann earns a starting spot, there could potentially be 6 starters in this draft alone. So I didn't like the Becton pick that much, because you gave Fant the 3-year, $30 million contract. Now, Becton could start on the right side. Maybe you were going to move Fant over to the right side. I'm not really sure, but after signing Fant and 3 other offensive linemen, drafting a guy in the 1st and the 4th round to also work on the offensive line, I wasn't so fond of that. So I'm giving the Jets a B. Now, if they didn't sign Fant, I'd probably give this a B+, maybe even an A- grade. But the Jets did have a very, very good draft. I just want to emphasize that. Miami gets a B+, mainly on sheer volume of picks. And I absolutely love what they did in free agency approaching the draft. This is easily the most improved team from 2019. But what I didn't like is that their first 5 selections in the draft are projects one way or another. In the first round, you got 3 picks, but none of them are really day 1 starters. You may want to start Austin Jackson on the left side, but I thought he was really raw, and I didn't think he would be a great player to pick to be your starting left tackle day 1. Now, keep in mind, 5 years from now, all 3 of these players may be Pro Bowl players, but none are really ready to start in 2020 day 1. You also got Robert Hunt and Raquan Davis in the 2nd round. Both these guys are raw. Davis, if he keeps his motor running at 100%, he has a great chance to be a superstar. The only thing that prevented him from being a superstar at Alabama was that his motor ran hot and cold. He didn't just put in that effort, but if he's motivated and he gives you 100%, he's going to be a star. So getting him at 56 could be great. I almost want to give Miami a just based on what they did in the 5th round. You traded for Matt Breida, which is a great move. He could be your day 1 starter at running back. He'll contribute right away. And then Curtis Weaver, who a lot of mocks, I've seen a lot of mocks, the majority of them, where he goes in the 2nd round. So you get him in the 5th round. There's a good chance that Weaver produces more as a rookie than Raquan Davis, your 2nd round pick. So that's a great move in the 5th round. But ultimately, I can't give an A for a team that has 3 first-round picks and none are really ready to start day 1. And then you get 2 second-round picks who are also raw and prospects. Now, I loved how you traded from 26 to 30 But Noah might have been available at 39, and Hunt, who chose at 39, he might have been available at 56. Most mocks had these guys available at those selections. And then Davis at 56. Out of your first 5 selections, Tua and Davis are the only ones that went at a really good value. Basically, Noah, and I can't pronounce the last name, and Austin Jackson, those were reaches. Robert Hunt out of Louisiana was also a reach. So I'm giving them a B plus, even though they got a lot of good players, and this draft could produce not only multiple starters but multiple Pro Bowl players. They had a lot of reaches, so I'm going to give them a B plus. The Patriots get a B plus, and I have them winning the AFC East draft grade like Bill Belichick cares. But out of the AFC East teams, the Patriots, even though they get a B plus, I have them ranked above the Dolphins, so as the winners. I love how the Patriots got out of round 1, but they got Kyle Duggar at 37. And I've seen a lot of mock drafts where Kyle Duggar was going to go in the first round. You could have drafted Kyle Duggar at 23, and that wouldn't have been that would have been a little bit of reach. So trading back down, getting him at 37, I thought was brilliant. Uche at 60 is really good value, kind of a positionless player. And that's not good for all teams, but I think it's a great move for the Patriots, who've had a system and success doing this in the past. So I love Uche at 60. Their next pick, Jennings, is a slight reach at 87. But again, this is a guy that under Bill Belichick, I think will really excel. And he's another guy who with Uche could start day 1. The Patriots needed help at tight end, and they got 2 good ones here. I might butcher this name, Asasi. Remember, he was coached by Chip Kelly at UCLA. Chip Kelly and Bill Belichick have a really good relationship, so I really like that player going to New England. Now, in round 3 was a little bit of a reach. For both tight ends, a little bit of reach, yes. But going to New England, I thought it was a great fit. The Marshall kicker, the Patriots had problems with the kicker position last year. They fill that in round 5, so I like that. In the sixth round, they drafted 3 offensive linemen. That's kind of interesting because they've had success before doing that. So I thought it was a pretty good move. Now, let's say Cincinnati Bengals drafted the same players. I probably would give that draft grade a C+. But positionless players who have athleticism, intelligence, and production have always excelled under the 20 years that Bill Belichick has been there. The Patriots, bottom line, they have a system. These players fit that system. Not only will this draft have potentially 6 players who are going to contribute big time in 2020, this draft will yield multiple Pro Bowl players and starters. That is why I got them ranked above the Dolphins, who had 3 first-round picks, who are probably going to have less production than the first 3 players the Patriots got in rounds 2 and 3. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what your opinion is. Drop a comment below. I'm offering you what my opinion is, but I want to know what you think. Ultimately, this video was created so I can have a conversation with you. I got my opinion now. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends. And hey, I'll see you next time.